Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit that notification bell, go to the updates. I'm really excited for today's video. This beer sounds bonkers, even if it was fresh. It's not fresh. It has a crazy number of adjuncts, and it's courtesy of Steven. Thank you so much for sending it. I really appreciate it. So it's Tuesday, and on Tuesdays I try to test my palate, and I have a decent number of beers that I'm planning on doing on these Tuesdays for the next month or so, a month and a half. And when I was looking at them, I'm like, this is the one I want to do first. And a couple of them are actually from him because they are like a little older. I'm curious how like adjuncts have held out in them. This one it's over a year and a half old, which isn't that, I mean, I age beers, you know, but I don't know, just listen to this beer. It's called Dad Shoes, and it's a pair of moccasin slippers, which I am currently wearing because I am a dad, and it's required to wear, apparently. Because dads. Dad Shoes is an Imperial Milk Stout, so right there, aged milk stout, lovely, that does not take itself very seriously, but is a serious beer brewed with chocolate, coffee, graham crackers, marshmallows, toasted coconut, coconut milk powder, Dutch cocoa powder, vanilla saltwater taffy, salted caramel, and, most importantly, hops, water, malt, and yeast. Dad Shoes is kind of the ultimate dad treat. 8.2% ABV. Let's test that palate and not die. Oh, brother. I'm super excited for this. Proper glassware, so it's going to taste delicious. Of course it's going to. It's pouring out a very dark, syrupy kind of black color, like Hershey syrup. Man, I just cleaned this glass. That's not too bad. Yeah, I poured a little bit more aggressive than I typically do. About 2 fingers of a very dark mocha head. Yeah, that beer is pretty darn black as well. Okay, I mean, so far, it doesn't seem like the adjuncts are making the head go away too quickly, and it didn't gush or anything like infection, so far, so good. And I don't know how, I didn't even think, I should have asked him if it had been refrigerated this whole time, just sitting out. Since I've gotten it, it's just been sitting out. It's been cellar temperature, about 60 degrees, so whatever. Let's get into the aroma. I don't hate it, but I can't say I love it either. There is a little bit of like a yogurty, like a chocolate yogurt thing. So I'm curious about the milk sugar at this point. I do get some coffee roastiness. I don't know if I would say coffee addition or just, yeah, pretty darn roasty fighting its way through, and it could be some coffee. It could just be the roasted malt. I could see it either way at this point. There's a woody characteristic. I'm not getting much of the adjuncts. And I mean, there's so many. I kind of thought if they were still there, they'd be fighting. It's not a lot. It smells like an old milk stout, period. Okay, let's get into the taste. Fingers crossed. Cheers. Cheers that this isn't the last video I ever filmed. That actually tastes really good. That was a lot of buildup in my own mind, and kind of a letdown because it's actually pretty good. I'm not going to pretend that I get all those adjuncts screaming, but kind of like the aroma. It drinks very much like a milk stout, so it has that sweetness, that creaminess. There is, I think in the taste it's a little more obvious. There's like a chocolate, maybe even the coffee working with the roast. Where it makes more sense that there be adjuncts helping it get that taste. If I was going to get any coffee, I assumed it was going to be a very green pepper kind of a thing. It's not, which is pleasant. I'm shocked. I'm genuinely shocked that this is drinking as good as it is. And I was really expecting for it to just be awful or just a total mess or super sour. In fact, like something like really off-putting, and then I was going to try to like fight through the off-puttingness to kind of describe what I was getting, whereas what I'm actually getting is super pleasant. So all this hype in my head of negativity, and then I'm like upset that it's actually pretty darn good right now. That sweetness mixing with the roasting, the chocolateness, it's a nice amount of caramel, which is very pleasant. How is this beer this good still? That's stupid. I'm really surprised this beer's that good. Okay, so chocolate, yeah, the coffee, that's interesting. Graham crackers, if they're cinnamon graham crackers, I'm not getting any cinnamon in this. And I definitely think that cinnamon can be an adjunct that doesn't take much to overpower a beer. So if it's cinnamon graham crackers, definitely not too much cinnamon. In terms of, I don't know if it doesn't have cinnamon on it, if it's just going to turn into fermentable sugars when you add graham crackers. Marshmallows, and some people disagree with me, that's fine, obviously. I don't think marshmallows add a whole lot of taste. I think it ferments the sugars usually. Toasted coconut, I didn't mention and coconut milk. I don't get the coconut at all. And that might be a good conversation for the comment section below. I don't know, like sometimes you think of these adjuncts that fade quickly, like coffee, although maybe not. Does coconut fade quickly? I don't know how many aged coconut beers I've ever had. Dutch cocoa powder, I get the chocolate. Vanilla saltwater taffy, I don't get any vanilla other than maybe a little kiss from the sweetness of the lactose, but I didn't think of it and comment on it. Salted caramel, So maybe but again, it'd probably just be fermented out. But I'm not an expert about that, so that's just speculation. But I do get caramel in this, so. Yeah, it's actually really good, and I'm really mad that it's so good. The aroma was part of it. I'm like, okay, the beer looks good, right? And it did. It looked beautiful when I poured it out. And I'm like, that aroma, that like yogurt, chocolate yogurt thing, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be awful. And the flavors are really landing, and I could not be more mad. Thanks, Steven, for sending it. This was a trip. It was a roller coaster ride where there was no drop. It just kept being a nice roller coaster, but it was the incline was quite something in my mind. Hope it was still fun to watch for everyone, and everyone hoping that I was going to get poisoned and die. I'm sorry. I will live to review another day. So thanks again for sending it. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Check me out on Instagram and Untapped. Snow Hype beer reviews about those places. So always please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.